Hi everybody, welcome to our virtual meeting for the Pioneer Centre. So normally before we go on this residential we would do a parents meeting, but obviously that can't happen this year because of current restrictions. So what I thought I would do is just go through this PowerPoint exactly in the same way as I would do if you were in school. And hopefully by the end of it, it will give you all of the information that you need to know about the upcoming visit to the Pioneer Centre. So it's a nice lovely picture there for you. And just a reminder of the date, so it's the 5th to the 9th of July, so that's Monday until Friday. Okay, so I'm going to go through all of this information with you. First thing just to say is that the children have also had this exact presentation, obviously without the video, we've done it in person. We can do that with them at school. So they will have already had this information by the time you get to view it. So they would have also had an opportunity to ask any questions at all. So if you have any questions at all during or afterwards, then ask your children first. But then if not, there will be opportunities for you to ask questions and send in questions at the end. It's a little bit strange and a little bit difficult trying to do this virtually, so hopefully I'll cover everything. But as I say, you can always ask questions afterwards if you've still got any. So first things first, staff that will be accompanying us, you can see there's a list there on the screen for you. So I will be going. Neither of the Mr. Roddisons will be coming. They've both got very, very young children and it's just not really an option this year, so they are unable to come. As the other sort of teacher going, Mr. Cochrane's going to be coming from year 5, so that's really beneficial because the children know him from last year as well, and it's nice to always have a mix of male and female teachers. So that's myself and Mr. Cochrane, and then we'll also be accompanied by 4 other members of staff. So we've got Mrs. Bridge, who works in Key Stage 1, the children will be familiar with her. Miss Matthews, who currently works as our assistant in Year 6, so the children are really familiar with her. And then we have 2 other people accompanying us. So we've got Mrs. Nolan, who you might know from the office. So she's going to be coming and she's one of our designated first aiders. And then also Mr. Nolan, who currently works down in Year 3. Again, the children are well aware of him and have a good knowledge of him as well. And he's coming as our other first aider. And other Newfield staff will visit daily as well. So it's really nice to have their input and it's nice for them, children to see them and for them to see the children enjoying themselves. So I had a very recent conversation with the Pioneer Centre just to talk about current restrictions, how they're dealing with that, because that's obviously going to be a little bit different this year. So I just wanted to make you feel comfortable and for you just to know everything that's happening as well. Now, as you can see there, it says this may change after the 21st of June. It's looking like that probably isn't going to happen. So everything on here should be everything that will be happening before, after and during our stay. If anything else changes, then I'll keep you updated as well. So there will be extra cleaning before our arrival, after our arrival and during our stay. Hand sanitizer stations will be placed at the start of every activity, so then we know that equipment being used is really clean. There will be the same instructor for each group rather than swapping different adults, so that minimises contact with adults. All adults and all children will have a temperature check on arrival. If it is found that a temperature is slightly raised, I asked the question, well, what happens if somebody is a little bit warm after sitting on the coach for a long time? It's not a problem. They just kind of get placed to one side for a while and then temperature rechecked after that. If anybody does need to isolate, they've got any symptoms, then we will keep a room spare so that'll be completely clean and they will be isolated in there until they need to be picked up. There will only ever be 2 groups in the dining hall at once, so 2 different school groups, one on one half, one on the other, so there'll be no contact, and because of that, meal times will be staggered. There won't be any mixing with other schools in communal areas at all, and free time will be able to either be spent outside or in the lounges that we have. So actually we have 2 lounges available to us. We have an upstairs to our lodge and a downstairs. So that's some place for children to socialise as well. And then all adults will be required to wear face masks inside. Okay, so arrival will be on the Monday morning. If children could just come to school as normal, so in their home clothes, bring their case with them. They need to bring a packed lunch. That's the only meal that isn't provided by the centre. And we won't leave until around 10 o'clock. We need to go a little bit later than we normally would because they need just that little bit extra for the extra cleaning and sanitisation. So we will leave at around 10 o'clock on the Monday. Children just to come to school as normal, so in their normal time slot. They'll leave their cases on the playground. We'll be there as well to help them. There's plenty of us available. Please make sure cases are a suitable size, so not huge because we've got 48 children going, so we need to make sure that we've got enough space on the coach for 48 cases plus all of the adults. So take everything they need, but make sure it's a suitable size. You will then receive a text from us to say that we have arrived safely, and then hopefully you won't hear from us again until you get a text to tell you our arrival time back at school on the Friday, but we'll aim for around 3:15, but we'll keep you updated on that. The site itself is absolutely lovely. It's a huge 25-acre site. There's a little picture there. Apologies, it's so small. If you want to go onto the Pioneer website, if you just Google Pioneer, it's in Cleobury Mortimer, and it will come up, and there's a few photos on there, or you can at least see that a little bit larger. One of the really nice benefits about it is that there are huge open grounds for the children to play in. So you can see here, for example, this area here is just a really large field, and this is where they'll spend their free time playing games, and there's a basketball court and a few other things that they can do as well. It's a lodge environment, so I think this area here is the main building that's got the dining hall, and then coming off it are different lodges, and we will have one entire lodge just to ourselves with our own lounges, and also all of the rooms are en suite, and they won't be eating in the rooms, they'll be eating separately in the dining hall or potentially outside if it's nice weather for picnics and things like that. So there's a little picture there. As I say, it's not particularly large, so feel free to pause it, but just gives you an idea of the layout of the centre, all the different activities, and just sort of, how it's laid out. So I know it's nice to know what your children are going to be getting up to. So food and meal times. Food is really, really good. I've been many years and I've been on several other residentials, and it definitely is the best one for food. There's lots of variety. There's a couple of different options for every meal, and we rarely have any problems with people not being able to eat anything at all. So a lovely selection for breakfast, cereals, fruits, juices, and generally a hot option as well. Lunch will be provided apart from on that Monday, so make sure you bring a packed lunch, please. And then dinner in the evening will be a hot meal, and then there's a selection of salads as well in the self-service section, and a few different options with that as well. There will always be drinking water available to the children throughout the day. It's really important, please, that they bring a refillable water bottle, because it's really difficult to, if they're out on an activity, they won't be able to leave that activity to get their water filled up or to go to the water fountain, because it's just not possible, plus they'll miss out on the activity. So one of the most important things they can bring is a refillable water bottle. There is a tuck shop, a souvenir shop that we will book for them maybe every other day. They won't need to go every other day. And if you've got any dietary requirements at all, then just make sure that you include that on your medical form, and then we can confirm that with Mrs. Nolan. Just a couple of pictures there for you of the dining hall. As I said, it's a massive, huge space. There'll only be 2 groups at any one time, so really easy to social distance. Pocket money and snacks. It would be really lovely if the children were able to bring a little bit of money. They don't have to, absolutely don't have to, but we would recommend £5. Between £5 and £10 is a suitable amount. Please don't bring any more than £10 because it's just not needed. In the shop, there's just snacks, bits of food, drinks, souvenirs. If they want to also bring something we will have a film night, so if they wanted to bring a snack, then that would be fine as well, but it really doesn't need to be masses of food. They'll be very well fed. But no nuts, please, in whatever they bring for their snack. We will keep hold of all of the children's money in a safe box until they request it, and then we'll give it out daily just to make sure that they don't lose it. And if you could make sure that their money is in some sort of labelled wallet, purse or bag, so it's just easy for handing it out and bringing it back in. Okay, so you will have a little pack sent out to you. It should be coming home today. So that's Wednesday, should be coming out for you with all of your medical forms that I'll talk to you about in a minute. And then the other item is the kit list. Now, all of these things, none of these things are essential. It's very much how you feel about what you want to send. But some things are going to be really, really important. So I just wanted to spend the time to go through it with you. If you could please make sure that everything is labelled. We always end up with a little pile of stuff on the last day. So if it's labelled, it just makes life a lot easier for us, but also means you're going to get those clothes back. Don't need to bring any bed linen at all. If they would like to bring a pillow, that's absolutely fine. Or a cuddly toy or anything like that is no problem at all. Nothing electronic, so definitely no phones, iPads, anything like that. Smartwatches, if it's not a particularly expensive smartwatch or not one that you're particularly worried about them losing or breaking, that's entirely up to you if they bring that, but nothing valuable, please, because obviously there is the potential for it to get broken. They do lots of activities. They don't really need a smartwatch anyway because they will have no concept of time. We'll just tell them where they need to be and at what time. Pack lunch again for the Monday. That's because if it is forgotten, it's really difficult to get hold of one. So just reiterating that. And then a suitcase or some sort of soft bag to put your thing in is just a little bit easier than a rucksack. They're a little bit harder to keep tidy. So clothing is really, really important. We're there obviously Monday through to Friday, so that's 5 days. They will need several complete changes of clothes. And that's everything from t-shirts, jumpers, and things that they want to wear like trousers or joggers or leggings like that. Obviously socks and underwear as well. Worth sending in some spares as well, just in case they get wet or muddy or something like that. For most of the activities, they will need to be really comfortable. So jeans aren't going to be suitable. They need to be able to move and be really flexible. So leggings or joggers. Shorts are absolutely fine as well, but some activities will require them to wear trousers. So make sure they've got a range of trousers and shorts. It does get a little bit chilly at night, even if we're in a bit of a heat wave. So a couple of warm jumpers or hoodies are great. There is a disco one night, so feel free to pop in a nice outfit for the disco, and then obviously nightwear, pajamas, and really important, a couple of long sleeve tops, because when they do, for example, the archery, they have to have a long sleeve top to protect their arms. Waterproofs, if you've got them. I mean, a lot of this really depends on the weather, but I would say don't, if it's forecast to be quite nice, that's great, but also pop in a few extra things as well. It's really uncomfortable if they aren't correctly dressed for it. And in terms of footwear, they need definitely more than one pair of shoes. So a variety of shoes, trainers, comfortable things, nothing new, because they will get dirty and possibly a little bit smelly. A pair of flip-flops or sandals are absolutely fine, not for activities, but for free time and walking around the room. Slippers if you want to, all of those are absolutely fine. Towels obviously need to, bedding is provided, but towels isn't. So they will need a couple of towels each, one for a shower or for having a bath, and then a smaller one for washing or for hands and face. Might be worth popping in an extra towel as well. So 3 towels is always better than 2, just in case they're not particularly nice by the end of the week. They will need all of the toiletries they need for the week, so toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, etc. Shower down. Deodorant would be lovely, please, really important, makes a big difference to us in the summer in year 6, but no sprays because it can aggravate people's asthma, but it also can set off the smoke alarms in the room, so any sort of roll-on would be great. Just in case we have lovely weather, I've got everything crossed that we're going to have a lovely week of weather. Sun cream, sun hat is quite exposed in some areas, so there's shade available, but not all the time. So sun cream, sun hat, lip balm, that kind of thing. Water bottle, again, I'll reiterate that again, so important they bring that. And then if they want to bring any things that are going to make them feel comfortable, cuddly toy, pack of cards, some colouring pencils and a notepad, that's absolutely fine as well, provided they can fit it all into their bag. We will have a movie night, so any DVDs that are U-rated they'd like to bring would be lovely, and you might also want to pop in a couple of bin liners for dirty washing. Also, it's worth saying they don't need any sort of rucksack or day sack, anything to take with them. When they go from activity to activity, all they will need is a water bottle, so they won't need any sort of rucksack or small bag to take with them on their daily activities, so just a suitcase really. Okay, so in terms of rooms, the rooms are really lovely. The children will be split up into rooms of 4 or slightly less if the numbers don't allow. They'll have a say, obviously, of who they want to be with. So we'll do that soon because that needs to be sent off to the centre, and then they'll find out when they get there who they are in a room with. So the children will choose some people, and we will make sure that they are in rooms with at least one of those people. Rooms, I'll show you some pictures in a minute. They're lovely. They've got single beds and bunk beds, really nice, really comfortable, and every single room is en suite, which is really lovely and really grown up, and it also helps for getting ready in the morning. Our rooms will be arranged in the same corridor, so we're in the same corridor as the children, and we just strategically arrange ourselves around so the children can get us if they need us in the night. And then in terms of safety in the evening, the lodge and the whole centre will be completely locked at night. We'll have the keys for those, so we're a very, very secure unit. So just a couple of pictures there for you of the kinds of rooms that the children are going to be staying in. Obviously the ensuite is separate to that. And then this is also a little picture of the lounge. So we'll have one for our upstairs corridor and one for our downstairs corridor. Just a really nice place to meet, especially if they're in a room with certain people, but they also want to spend time with other people. That's a really nice opportunity to do that as well. There is also a sports hall available, so we're hoping to get that booked out. It won't look like that, that's set up for a conference, so we can use that for some of our free time, and some of the activities like archery will take place in there as well. So the activities that are provided are fantastic. There's a massive range, and I'll show you a list in a minute, but I've also just given you a snapshot of what their day will look like. So as you can see, it's a pretty full on, pretty packed day. So I hope to bring them back to you on a Friday, really tired and having a really lovely week and have really enjoyed it. So this is just an example. This isn't necessarily what we'll be doing. So there'll be 4 different groups for activities, and each day is packed out with 5 different sessions broken up by lunch and by dinner. And then here are a list of the activities, so I won't read them out for you. You can read through yourself. I mean, there's some fantastic ones. So we've got things, for example, climbing is a real favourite. We've got climbing and an abseiling. We've got a lovely zip wire. Then there's lots of things like the campfire. We have a disco one evening, lots of team games. The raft building is a brilliant activity, and it's definitely worth sending some really old clothes for that, because they generally will end up in the water and the clothes will be not very nice afterwards, so definitely worth bringing that. Archery is brilliant. Got a trek course which is up in the air, which is a little bit like Go Ape or something like that. So it's a real chance for children to have a go at activities that maybe they haven't done before, or even if they have done them, just to have a go with their friends. It's really fun, and it really builds their self-confidence. So the children will be split into 4 groups for activities. Each group will be led by a Pioneer Centre staff. But there will also be at least one of us with them as well, because it's important that children have got one of us there that they know as well. Okay, so medical information is the bit that's perhaps the hardest sometimes to do virtually, so I hope I've explained it well. There are several forms that will be sent out to you on Wednesday, so keep an eye out in your children's bags and make sure that they get this. You will have 3 forms, so you'll have a pink form, a yellow form and a white form, and you'll also have the kit list. So the pink form, which is on nice bright pink paper, is a consent form that we need for any non-prescribed medicines. So that needs to be sent back to us as soon as possible. That also gives us your children's medical information, and also gives us your emergency contacts. So the pink form, please, needs to be sent back as soon as possible, and fill it in as much detail as possible. So it asks for, that's also your dietary requirements, if they have inhalers, anything at all like that needs to be filled in. Even if your child has some sort of medication that we already know about in school, and that includes inhalers, everything has to go on that form, please. Then it has to be signed off. We make big lists of everybody that needs everything. So that's your pink form. There is also another form which is we've called the CalPOL consent, which is the yellow form. So you'll be able to read it, and it just says that if your child is in need of CalPOL, you consent for us to give it to them. It also says on there that we will obviously try and contact you, but it also says that if we can't contact you, there's an option for you to tick to say that you're happy for us to give that. We will still contact you after us, but if a child's got a headache or something like that and we can't get hold of you, sometimes that's really difficult, because we really want to give that child CalPOL, but we can't. Obviously, if your child can't have that, just let us know. So that's the pink form and the yellow form. So they will come out to you on Wednesday. If we could have those back, it's a real plea from me, please, as soon as possible in school. And we do need the paper copies. So if you just send them back in with your child, or even hand them into the office, that's absolutely fine. There will also be a third form, which will be on white. This is one that comes in on the Monday morning, so I don't need this white form back at all. This one will list any medication that's that your child is on. So that's anything prescribed by a doctor, anything that your child is on that Monday morning. Now, the reason it has to be on that Monday morning is that things can change. Somebody might be put on antibiotics just the day before, or they might need something particular. So the white form doesn't need to come back to us. On that Monday morning, Mr. Nolan, Mrs. Nolan, and many other staff members will be out there, and we can help you fill in any of those forms at all. So just to reiterate, if I can please have the pink form and the yellow form back as soon as possible, and you keep hold of the white form until that Monday, the 5th of July. If we were to have any emergencies, then please rest assured we will deal with them immediately, and you'll be contacted as quickly as possible. That's why it's really important that those emergency contact details are up to date. We are all basic first aid trained anyway. Mrs. Nolan and Mr. Nolan are the next level up of first aid trained, and all the Pioneer staff members are trained as well, and that's 24 hours. So if we needed anybody at any point, we have a phone number we can call, and they'll just come straight over to us. Okay, so just to confirm, this will be sent out to you this week, hopefully on Wednesday. Will contain 4 things. You will have a kit list, just so you've got it anyway. It's on here anyway, but some people like to tick it off. The white form, which I don't need until that Monday morning. The yellow form, which just says that you consent and your child is able to have CalPOL. And then the pink form is the really important one that's just got all of the information on there that we need. Okay, so I hope I've covered everything that you wanted to know or needed to know. If you feel that I haven't, or you've got any question, no matter how small, then the best way for you to get into contact is to just send it to the Year 6 mailbox. So just as you normally would, don't send it to the office, because it just takes a bit longer to come through to me. If you could just send it directly to me at Newfield Year 6 website, email address, that is the best way for me to get back to you. And yeah, thank you for taking the time out. Sorry, it's quite a long video, but I'm really keen to make sure you've got all the information that you need. And I guess the nice thing about a video is you can go back and look at it if you need to. So children will also be shown this, so they might know the answers to some of your questions anyway, but please feel free, don't hesitate to just get in contact, anything at all. If anything changes or I need to update you in anything else, then I'll do that either by text or by email, but I probably won't need to do any more videos at all. But yeah, please get in contact, and thank you for taking the time to listen and to watch this video.